Alright guys, in the last video we went ahead, we created our newsletter section and our boxes. Now we're going to move on to the about section, or the why buy this book section, which is going to go directly under the boxes. So let's go ahead and put a comment here. We'll just say the about why section. So we'll say section ID. Let's give it an ID of about. We'll give it a class. Now I'm going to give this a class of MY5, which is going to be margin on the top and bottom. Also PY5, so on the padding on the top and bottom. Also text dash center, and also BG light. Okay, so that's what we want for classes. And we're going to do our container, and then the row. And this is going to be just pretty much just one column all the way across, so it's just going to have a class of call. Now we're going to have a header area first, and then we'll do the accordion underneath. So we're going to have a class in here called info header, which we're going to style a little bit on our own, and then also we're going to do margin bottom 5. Alright, now in here we want to have an H1. I'm going to give it a class of text dash primary to make it that bluish color, teal color, and we're going to do a padding bottom 3. Okay, and we're going to say why this book. So let's save that, check it out. So it should look like this so far. Actually, you know what, I'm not sure why I have the margin right here, so let's actually get rid of the my 5 for now. Yeah. Now, under this H1, we're going to have a paragraph with the class of lead and also some padding bottom, so PB3. And then in here, we're going to say lorem 15 tab. And save, and it should look like this. Now, we're going to add just a little bit of styling for this header, so let's go to our style.scss file, and let's go down at the bottom here, and we'll say .info header. That's the class we gave it. And we're going to set the width to 50% so that the text doesn't go over so far. And set the margin to auto. Push it in the middle. And then just a border on the bottom, which will be 1 pixel. DDD for the color, which is a gray, and then solid. And save. And now we just have this right here. You can see it moved it in 50%. Alright, so that's the header. Now we're going to work on the about, which is going to be the accordion module. Alright, so let's go back to index.html. Let's see. So we're going to go right under the info header, which ends at this div right here. So we're going to go under that, and this is going to be the accordion. Okay, make sure you're still in the same section, the about section. So for the accordion, we've done this before. We're going to have an ID of accordion, and we're going to give this a row of tab list. Alright, and then we're just going to have some cards. So have a div with the class of card. And in here we're going to have a div with the class of card header. Okay, let's also give it an ID of heading 1. And then in here we're going to have an H5. We're going to give this H5 a class of MB0 because we don't want any margin on the bottom. And then in here we'll have our div with a it's going to be a div with the class. Actually, we're not going to have a class, we're going to have an ID. No, we're not even going to have an ID. Sorry about that. So it's just going to be a div with some attributes. So we're going to do href because we want it to point to a piece of content. So let's do collapse 1. And then it needs a data toggle. Okay, data toggle is going to be collapse. And then it needs a data parent since it's inside of an accordion. And we gave that an ID of accordion, so that's what we're going to do here is we're going to do hash accordion. Alright, now I also want to have an arrow icon pointing down So inside this div here, we're going to have the text get inspired. And then on the left of it, we're going to have an icon. So let's go ahead and just put an I tag with the class of FA. And then we're going to do FA-arrow circle down. Okay, that's going to be the class. So let's go ahead and save it, and it should look like this. So now what we want to do is go under the card header, which ends right here, and we want to put our div with the ID of collapse1. Okay, and this is going to pertain to this right here. It's going to point to this content. And it's going to also need a class of collapse. And we want this to show by default, so we're going to put a class of show. And now inside here, we just want a card block class. And we'll put our content. So let's say lorem, I'll do lorem 50. Actually, let's do 40. That's a little too much. All right. So save that. And now you can see we have our content. Oh, you know what? This needs to be card body. That's the old alpha class. There we go. I guess we could put a little more content in here. Oh. All right. And we should be able to close that up. Good. So now we're going to copy the card. Okay, so this card ends right here, so we're going to grab that whole thing, and then we're going to go directly under it and paste it in, and we're just going to change this to collapse 2 and this to collapse 2. We'll change the text to, let's say, gain the knowledge, and let's see what else. Get rid of the show because we don't want it to show automatically. We'll leave the same text, that's fine. Let's change the ID of the header to heading 2, and I think that should be good. So let's save that, and now if we click that, you can see that the accordion works. So we're going to need one more, so let's paste another card, and we'll change this to collapse 3 along with this ID here. And let's see, we'll change the text to open your mind. Let's change the heading to heading 3 and get rid of the show class. Save that, and now we have a little accordion with some dummy text. So this is the about section. So now remember we implemented that jQuery plugin. If I click about, you'll see it'll just scroll down to it. It doesn't just pop up like it did with Loop Lab. It just scrolls down, and you can implement this in the Loop Lab theme if you want. You'll see if I click home, it'll scroll back up, so it's pretty cool. And we didn't really have to do anything aside from include that JavaScript file. Alright, so that's the about section. Now in the next video, we're going to do the meet the authors. We're going to have some boxes with some pictures of the authors along with some information and their social media links. So I will see you in the next video.